Let's get this adjustment, y'all. Come on in. It's a movement, baby. You hear me? Mm-hmm. What's going on? Welcome in, Ruins. Welcome in, welcome in. Have to make sure I tune in with the collective before we get into that exact new moon conjunction in Pisces, 28 degrees. So that way you're not moving forward with, what no longer serves moving forward, okay? Oh man. That's 3 times so far that this been happening with the throat chakra when I come onto the live. So keep that in mind. 1 second. Let's make sure we get all our stuff up here before we get started. I'm excited for us. Really am. Yes, indeed. Welcome in, y'all. Make sure y'all hitting that thumbs up energy button upon entering. Shout out to the new subscribers, about 100 of you all within the past, not even month. Welcome. I'm super hyped. Let's get rolling, y'all. I am Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Pantera. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the vibes, okay? As you can see from the title of this live, as you can see from the title of this live, what you feel will influence your actions. And there's a reason why that is the statement, because of where the moon is and where Mars is, in both in Pisces. So this is the adjustment time, balsamic moon phase in Pisces at 12 degrees before we approach the new moon that occurs at 28 degrees, which is a Cancer degree, and Cancer rules the moon. So we're going to really get into this. Okay. And see, I have to keep the chat open on here. That should be your focus, Louise. Change that up. Change that up. That shouldn't be your focus. Should know better than that, being a member of the channel. We'll have to make some adjustments for real. All right, so we about to zoom all the way in right now because, as mentioned, the moon is not just moving, it's revealing. And we're going to lock in on the moon's current energy and its Sabian symbol. So that way you can get a clearer direction in regards to the energy we have in front of us right now. So we're not just talking surface emotion. We're decoding the exact message behind what you're feeling, what's coming up, and why it's happening right now, specifically. Because this is the point where people either get clear or they repeat the same cycle again without realizing it. And this is why we have going live our reset timeline, reset your timeline or repeat your life, a step-by-step system that shows you how to stop looping patterns and start moving with precision. And that will be going live very, 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 very soon. Might be in a few hours. Just stay tuned. So if you've been noticing the same situations repeating, the same emotional patterns coming back, or feeling something shifting but not fully understanding it, that's your signal. So as we break down this live, stay present, stay locked in. And if you're ready to actually apply this into your own life, not just listen to it, tap into the link in the bio or in the pinned comment to book your personal message or session. So let's get into it. The moon right now, Pisces, 12 degrees, just about. Sabian symbol, an examination of initiates, which is a degree that is about being tested after preparation, not learning, not starting, not guessing, being evaluated based on what you already know. So something in your life right now is functioning as a checkpoint. So have you actually integrated what you've been through? Are you responding differently or repeating the same pattern? Can you hold your awareness under pressure or do you revert? It's not external judgment. This is life presenting a situation to see if the pattern has changed. And you just got your first taste of it, Louise. Stay focused now. Now, with the moon here, this testing is happening through emotional triggers, subtle situations that feel familiar, interactions that mirror past experiences. So you may feel, why does this feel so familiar? Or the thought of, I thought I already handled that. For some of you, your actual verbiage is, oh, I thought I dealt with this. Yeah, you've dealt with it and continue to possibly deal with it and not handle it. So this message will assist you with that. Because that's also the point of the moon here and the way the test is happening through emotional triggers, subtle situations that feel familiar, interactions that mirror past experiences. It's a similar frequency showing you whether your response has evolved. So what's actually being tested is this degree, 12 degrees, checks emotional regulation, intuitive trust, and your ability to respond instead of react, whether you can stay grounded in what you now understand. It's not about, it's more about your awareness in real time. So the way this shows up in real life, someone says something that normally would trigger you. A situation presents itself that looks similar to an old pattern. You feel the urge to react the same way you used to, but now there's a pause. A moment where you recognize, I don't have to do this the same way. That moment right there, that's the initiation, okay? Now, the gift of this degree is that you move differently now. The pattern breaks, the cycle closes, and you don't carry it forward. If you react the same, the pattern repeats, the cycle continues. Just clear feedback. And why this is hitting right now is because the moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is the final sign. So this is the end of a cycle. So this degree is basically asking, did you actually learn or just experience? It's not about what you say you understand. It's how you respond when the moment shows up again. That response tells the truth. Now, in the balsamic phase, which is right before the new moon, it's the last phase of the lunar cycle. It's not a time to build, and it's not a time to push. This is where everything that cannot go forward starts to surface so it can be cleared. Think of it as the exhale after a full cycle. The moon has already grown, peaked, declined. Now it's dissolving what remains. The balsamic phase is mainly about closure, release, completion, quiet awareness, not loud endings, subtle but final ones. The psychological function of this phase right before the new moon, this is where the mind begins to reflect instead of initiate, process instead of plan, withdraw from stimulation. So you may notice lower energy, less desire to engage socially, increased awareness of what feels unnecessary. It's not lack of motivation. It's the system powering down to reset. So the way your body, your nervous system responds to this exact phase, the balsamic phase, is that it naturally pulls you inward. So the body begins to say, okay, we're clearing emotional residue. We're releasing stored tension. We're reducing output. If you override this and keep forcing activity, this is why you may feel drained, irritable, mentally foggy, because the system is attempting to close a loop, not open one. In Pisces, this balsamic moon phase in Pisces, it goes deeper because it's not just a surface level release now. This is conscious clearing, emotional pattern recognition, dissolution of attachment. So you may experience memories resurfacing, emotional waves without a clear current cause, recognizing patterns that have repeated. This is the system pulling old data to the surface so it doesn't carry forward. So it's important not to get caught up attempting to make big decisions, force clarity, start something new. But clarity here does not come from thinking. It comes from allowing what's ending to fully be seen. This phase is asking you one question here, collective. What is still open that you are required to close now? Not externally, internally. What unresolved emotion, unfinished thoughts, attachments that already expired have to be closed? Because if it's not released here, it moves into the next cycle. Real life examples are the following, where you're losing interest in something you once pursued heavily, pulling back from conversations or people, realizing something is over without the necessity of a dramatic ending. Also the necessity for more quiet time than usual, not in a state of avoidance, but more so completion without noise. So to move in this energy, it's important to keep it simple. Observe instead of react. Rest instead of push. Allow instead of control. Let things show themselves clearly. No forcing. So the balsamic phase, which is where the collective currently is, where we all are now, Moon in Pisces, before it has the exact conjunction at 28 degrees, making it the new moon. This particular phase is where cycles end quietly. If you respect it, the next cycle starts clean. If you ignore it, the same patterns restart under a new name. This is not a pause. This is a reset in progress. Okay? Let me see what we got going on here in the chat. Who we got here? Who are the brave souls that's tuning in? If you're still here vibing, put a 1 in the chat. Let me see what we got up in here. Come on in, darlings. So you see why the title is the title. Adjustment time. Come on with it. Got a wing still in the building. Shout out to you. Come on now. You feel me? All right, y'all. This is a prime example of living on purpose and with purpose, with understanding as to the way the cycles go. It is up to me to decide what I'm going to do with that information. Do I just hold that information with self and thrive, or do I share with the collective? Yeah, we're going to share this with the collective. So, because if y'all going to be up in here, you all might as well get with the program. And this is also why we've been focusing on much more direct in regards to focusing on the signs that the moon has been in and the transition of it since the eclipse season. It's a pivotal time for everybody. You just got to make sure, you know what I'm saying, you're in alignment. It makes things a lot smoother for you. Okay? Now, so we got the sun, moon, Mercury retrograde, Mars, Pallas, Vesta, and the North Node all in Pisces. In the degrees that are late enough now that this isn't just reflection anymore. This is closure in motion. Closure in full-on motion. Making sure we can see the chat here so I don't have to keep going back and forth, but it's okay. No worries. So, the sun right now in Pisces at 27 degrees, which is a Gemini degree. Thought patterns, communication, social media. Social media is actually reflecting back to you exactly what it is that you got going on subconsciously. Here's the question. Let's say I have a conversation with you one-on-one, and you're telling me you desire to do this and desire to do that. If I tell you, let me see your feed, your social media feed, is your feed going to reflect what it is that you desire? It should. For others of you, your feed is showing you what your next step is, especially from a higher timeline perspective, where there's an idea you've been ruminating on, but haven't taken action on just yet. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay? The late degrees in any sign carries urgency, not panic, but completion of the energy. So this is where something has already played out enough times that the system now says, we're not doing this again. So the sun in Pisces at 27 degrees is doing just that. And with the moon sitting with Mars in Pisces at 12 degrees, it brings the emotion and action together, which is what you see in the title. What you feel is equivalent to what you're about to act on. And for some of you, what you feel, your feed is showing you exactly the same thing. Emotional truth is no longer separate from behavior right now. You can't ignore it and move clean at the same time. Mercury retrograde in Pisces just constantly showing you truth after truth after truth, because right now is what, 8 degrees in Pisces, so it's still pulling things back. It's not new information. This is realizing what something actually meant. Seeing through past conversations, catching patterns you missed in real time. It's the moment where you look back and say, okay, that wasn't what I thought it was. And now you can't unsee it. Mars in Pisces is action from feeling. And it changes everything about movement, because this is not force, push, or chase the way Mars naturally is if it's in a fire sign or specifically Aries. While it's in the sign of Pisces, a water sign, this is more respond, sense, move when it's aligned. So you have to be able to trust what it is that you feel. So if something is off, your body will reject it fast. If something is in alignment, it moves with less resistance. So action right now is directly tied to your emotional accuracy. And it's pause right there. Because as we go into this new moon phase, and the balsamic phase is about closing out the cycle, what emotional residue you have to close out that's preventing you from actually aligning with proper action that is connected to less resistance, because that emotional residue is actually going to make it quite dense for you to even see which direction to go. Now you see the importance of everything we've been discussing up to this point. So if you've been actually paying attention, your attention can pay you now with greatness. But if you haven't, you just been sitting here just listening and not applying, you might feel rushed right now. It's okay. We gonna adjust. Because what's forming ahead is this Aries buildup, the pressure to move. Venus in Aries, 14 degrees. Saturn in Aries, 3 degrees. Neptune in Aries, 1 degree. Chiron in Aries, 24 degrees. This is basically a stacked initiation field. But here's the catch. You're not fully in Aries yet, so there's tension. Part of you is done and part of you is ready to move. But Pisces says, finish the ending properly or you'll drag it forward. And Saturn in Aries is making that very clear. You're not skipping no steps this time. And Jupiter is playing a whole other role, being in Cancer and now direct hitting the exact midpoint at 15 degrees is amplifying your emotions. It's expanding your emotional awareness, your sensitivity to environment, recognition of what actually supports you. So when it comes to what you feel, okay, is what you're about to act on, and your action right now is directly tied to emotional accuracy. This whole lineup cosmically is the example of focus on the who, what, when, where, and how. The how is actually presenting itself loudly at this point, especially that Jupiter there expanding your emotional awareness so that way you can really check in with what it is that is accurate when it comes to your emotions and what isn't. It's basically Jupiter in Cancer, amplifying your emotions, is helping you to realize, okay, this environment doesn't feel in alignment, or this connection doesn't feel safe, or this situation isn't aligned anymore, and it becomes harder to ignore. Some of you up to this point have already we didn't even get to 30 minutes yet, but you already received the answer to your questions about what to do next. Some of you just requires you to have the strength and courage to do it, especially when it comes to what is becoming harder to ignore. For the next 18 to 20 years, while Pluto's in Aquarius, the background transformation, this is mindset changes, social shifts, and detaching from what you used to accept. So you're not thinking the same anymore anyway. And because of that, you can't move the same way either. Your body right now is in high awareness of all of this that I'm saying right now. I'm just putting it into words. There's a sharpened awareness of patterns, physical reactions, what feels clean versus off. You may notice sensitivity to routines, noticing details you ignored before, your body reacting before your mind explains it. This is the system becoming more precise. It's not a chaotic moment. It's a decision point that doesn't feel loud, but it's certainly final. You are seeing things clearly, feeling what's no longer aligned, recognizing patterns that have repeated enough. So the question is, do you move differently or repeat it again? What you feel is equivalent to the action you're about to take. Everything in Pisces right now is doing one job, closing the loop. So that when Aries fully activates, you're not starting fresh with old patterns still running. Therefore, some of you can see yourself pulling back from certain people or spaces, realizing something has run its course, feeling less emotional attachment to what once mattered, the necessity for space to process before making a move, which is basically alignment before action. You're not stuck, you're just finishing something now. And how clean you close this chapter determines how clean the next one begins. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, you are in a pre-birth phase. This is not your usual pace, and that's intentional because everything Pisces is doing right now is clearing your subconscious before your season fully activates. Old emotional reactions, identity wounds, and past decisions are being reviewed so you don't carry them into your next chapter. As a Sun in Aries, this is an identity reset, quiet before visibility. As a Moon in Aries, this is emotional sensitivity is becoming higher than usual. As a rising, you're more withdrawn, observing more than acting, and you're being slowed down so your next move is clean, not reactive. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, you're seeing your environment and connections clearly. Who you surround yourself with, what spaces you're in, and what energy you allow around is becoming very obvious. As a sun in Taurus, you're redefining community and support. As a moon in Taurus, this has to do with your emotional clarity around friendships or social groups. As a Taurus rising, this has to do with shifting who you engage with daily. You're not losing people, you're recognizing alignment, Taurus. Gemini, sun, moon, rising, this is hitting your direction in public life. You're basically being asked to get real about where you're going and what actually reflects you. As a sun in Gemini, this has to do with your career and life path recalibration. As a moon in Gemini, this has to do with the emotional pressure around purpose. As a Gemini rising, this has to do with visible shifts in direction. So if something doesn't feel in alignment anymore, it's because you've outgrown it, Gemini. Cancer, sun, moon, rising, Jupiter's amplifying everything for you at this point. This is a belief and expansion check. So as a sun in Cancer, you are redefining what you believe in. As a moon in Cancer, this has to do with your emotional growth through new understanding. As a Cancer rising, this is stepping into a new version of yourself where you're being stretched, but it's towards something that actually fits you. Leo, sun, moon, rising, this current energy, this is deep internal work. You're processing attachments, control, and emotional depth. As a sun in Leo, this is transformation of what you hold on to. As a moon in Leo, this has to do with your intense emotional realizations. As a Leo rising, this is about pulling back to process because all in all, this is where you release what has had power over you. Virgo, sun, moon, rising, this is about relationships and mirrors where you're seeing people for who they actually are, Virgo. Virgo, suns, this is redefining your partnership dynamics. Virgo, moon, this is emotional clarity and connections. Virgo, rising, this is real-time shifts in how you relate. All in all, you're no longer filling in the gaps for others. Libra, in this current energy. Sun, moon, rising, Libra, your daily life and habits are being restructured. As a sun in Libra, this is refining routines and responsibilities. As a moon in Libra, this is emotional awareness of burnout or imbalance. As a Libra rising, this is changes in how you move day to day. Candle is beaming. Moment to moment, rotation by rotation. All in all together, Libra, sun, moon, or rising, you're being pushed toward a lifestyle that actually supports you. Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, this is about expression and authenticity. As a Scorpio sun, you're stepping into your creative truth. As a Scorpio moon, this has to do with your emotional honesty about what you enjoy. As a Scorpio rising, this is showing more of your real self. All in all, Scorpio, you're done performing and what's real is taking over. Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising, this hits home, foundation, and emotional grounding. As a sun in Sagittarius, you're redefining your base and stability. As a moon in Sagittarius, this has to do with emotional processing tied to family or past. As a Sagittarius rising, there's changes in living situation or internal foundation. Overall, Sagittarius, you are restructuring where you stand so you can move forward stronger. Capricorn, sun, moon, rising, your mind and communication patterns are shifting. As the sun in Capricorn in this current energy, a new way of thinking, this has to do with the new way of thinking and expressing when it comes to your mind and communication patterns shifting. As a moon in Capricorn, this has to do with the emotional awareness of mental loops when it comes to your mind and communication patterns that are shifting. As a Capricorn rising, this speaks differently. This is about you speaking differently and processing differently when it comes to your mind and communication patterns that are shifting. Altogether, Capricorn, you're not thinking the same, so your reality can't stay the same either. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising, this is about values, stability, and what you invest in. As a sun in Aquarius, you're redefining worth and resources when it comes to value, stability, and what you invest in. As a moon in Aquarius, this has to do with emotional clarity around what's worth your energy in regards to value, stability, and what you invest in. When it comes to Aquarius rising, this has to do with financial or value-based decisions about value, stability, and what you invest in. Overall, Aquarius, you're being shown exactly and what actually holds value long term. Pisces, sun, moon, rising, this is your full reset. As a sun in Pisces, this is a full reset when it comes to identity dissolving and reforming. Moon in Pisces, emotional peak and release when it comes to a full reset. And Pisces rising, visible personal shifts when it comes to your full reset, because Pisces, you are closing a major cycle. You will not be the same after this, especially y'all Pisces, because now we're talking about the closing of an entire age. So if you're a Pisces during this specific moment, your life path is, you really feel as though you know that you're in the same body, but you could possibly feel as though you're in a whole different body, or you're going through that level of transformation of caterpillar to a butterfly, basically. So for all signs, it's not about rushing forward. It's about seeing clearly, feeling fully, and releasing completely. So when Aries energy takes over, you're not repeating, you're starting clean. And that's what's important. Because right now we have this triple merge between Moon, Mercury, and Mars, a full system activation, where what you feel, what you think, and what you do are all happening at the same time. If you someone in human design, you have a triple split in regards to communication, this you really could be thriving right now. So what you feel, what you think, and what you do are all happening at the same time. So that means, that literally means reactions are immediate. So you got to grasp that immediately. Emotions are verbalized quickly, and actions come straight from internal states. It's powerful because it requires one thing: awareness. So if you're clear, you have decisive action. If you're unclear, reactive behavior. And there's absolutely no buffer right now. Because you also have your reality check zone with the Sun, Saturn, and Neptune, bringing forth a true filter. Neptune is blurring parts of your identity that no longer serve you. Saturn is defining what does, and the Sun is exposing. So what's happening, illusions are being revealed, tested, either grounded or dissolved. So you may notice something you believe doesn't fully hold up anymore, a situation becoming clearer, even if uncomfortable. The difference between what you desire and what actually is. It's truth stabilizing itself. For some of you, it may be, you may be thinking, oh, it's some level of confusion. No, it's truth stabilizing itself, and it's happening quite quickly. There's no rush, but the situation behind the scenes is doing what it has to do. Then we have the situation in regards to relationship and value tension with Venus squaring Jupiter in conjunct the ascendant. So there's friction around relationships, values, desires. Jupiter is expanded, Venus is attracted, and Uranus is disrupted. So this can feel as though you are desiring more, but something feels off. And it could be because you're wanting more, and it's something that is external to you that's actually not in alignment to you anymore. And you're noticing your attraction to instability, or with instability, or realizing something doesn't actually match your standards any longer. So this is recalibration of what you actually value. I feel we've gotten through a whole bunch, a majority of what's going on here. Because the core message of it all is that everything is lining up, y'all, so you can clearly and act accordingly. So you can see clearly and act accordingly. So the order does matter here. Feel, recognize, then act, not react and explain later. Okay? Because this energy right now is not allowing not 1 ounce of avoidance. because it's connecting what you feel, what you think, what you do, so you can either move with awareness or react and learn from the result. Either way, movement is happening. So now, let's get into the messages here. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, let me see what y'all got going on. That's what the astrology is telling me. What's assisting you. But let me see what y'all over here doing. Okay. Only God can judge us. I'm glad you mentioned that, because humans have been reading the same book for 2,000 years and still managing to miss entire paragraphs sitting right in front of them. Where the Bible contains several places where the idea that humans carry divine authority is stated outright, yet whole traditions step around those lines as if they were furniture in a dark room. Psalm 82, verse 6 literally says, I said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Which literally means that you, as a human vessel, were given responsibility that reflects divine order. So what's unholy is your ignorance in not knowing the text that you read. Okay. Now we're going to get you right up on out of here. Because there's more verses where that came from. There's more where that came from, honey, okay? So, and that right there is a response, because information was provided for one to dive further into their studies, so that way they're not out here misjudging because of the lack of awareness. Let's get back to it, collective. I'm actually going to go towards the angels and ancestors. And it's so wild how I'm glad that person came in here with that. Because, yo. Even because Christ consciousness is an awareness, and it was depicted in the Bible as a person in a literal sense. However, looking at the statement, your boy said, what he said? I'm the Holy Spirit, the Father, and the Son. Sun, moon, and the stars. And that's what each one within the collective is. But you have to be awareness. You have to have the awareness of your Christ consciousness. It's a consciousness. Crystallization of an extension of one being, an extension of source or divine order. You know what I'm saying? Even most people don't even, many have managed to repeat the Lord's Prayer, which is what, Matthew 6:9-13, for centuries, okay? While barely pausing to notice what the words are actually saying. Because it's not merely a polite request sent upward to the sky. Metaphysically, it reads more as a template for how consciousness organizes reality. beginning from authority and moving through alignment, provision, responsibility, and protection. So if you view the Lord as the head of the household, as what it is, then the prayer becomes a structure of your inner governance. It describes how a human being establishes order within their own life. But we'll break that down another time. We may have to do a specific live just for that. Yes, we are. Because I'm here for it, okay? This Sagitario is here for it. Let's get into the messages, my loves. Come on. Let's go. I ain't gonna come up in here disturbing this house. You gonna learn today, baby. You gonna learn today. Anyway, y'all, if you're looking to book your personalized message, view the link in the pinned comment. For all services, for services during the lives, that'll be in the section of live streams, offers only. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have going on. Embrace the energy of peace. Okay. What else? Drop your shields. Taking a journey. Let me fill this out. Because it's the vibe of someone obviously not being at peace because of being overprotective of something here. Show me what it is. Let's see. What is this about? It's causing you to not make a decision. Now, the Lovers is represented by Gemini. And it's often misunderstood as a card of a romance, but its deeper connection has to do with alignment and conscious choice. You're being told to drop the shield so you can embrace the energy of peace, because this is a moment when you are to recognize that your actions are defining who you are becoming. So slow it down when it comes to the way you feel and the actions you're taking thereafter. Because your actions are defining who you are becoming. I'm also getting is not as challenging or complicated as you're making it to be. You're making it to be that way. Because this decision, okay, is surely reflecting the way you were shaped by external forces, because the Hierophant is before this, which has to do with Again, your environment, your upbringing, institutions, or instinctive exploration, where the lovers is introducing self-definition, choosing a path, your path. Choose the path that expands you, not the one that has you feeling small. Choose the path that expands you. We'll see. So we have Four of Wands, Aries, Venus in Aries to be exact. Aries energy in this sense is basically, okay, so your internal world is being hit very hard. Embrace the energy of peace because you're mentally active but physically unable to move. Make a choice. Emotions are surfacing unexpectedly. You have this strong urge to act, but you have no clear direction yet. Okay. Because this is not your usual forward motion. This is subconscious clearing. You're being shown here what's been running behind the scenes so you don't carry it into your next chapter. Don't rush into action. Yeah. Because your clarity is forming internally first. You could be looking for clarity externally or seeking validation, or before you make a decision, you're asking people outside of you. So what do you think about this? And it's causing you to step out of alignment when it comes to you embracing your own energy of peace. I just heard peaceful resolution within you. Let me see. Yeah, see? Literally the card of indecision. This is a Moon and Libra card. Two of Swords. And daily life and responsibilities are being affected here with this energy, Libra, coming out, feeling overwhelmed or mentally overloaded because you're being pushed to handle things more directly. First thing you have to do here, first thing to do, because your emotional responses are tied to routine or workload, is to refine your routines and workload, okay? And doing that by simply focusing on what actually matters. Now, that's causing somebody to be overwhelmed because you think everything fucking matters, which is causing you not to make a decision. Two cards that have to do with decision, and the major arcana is being clarified by an indecision because it's embracing the energy of peace. What's disturbing the peace? Let's get a different deck. Look at this, Seven of Wands, Mars and Leo. See? Drop your shields. What's behind this? There's obviously something here that's not balanced in matters of give and take. You're either giving, or taking too much time to make a decision on what's actually closing. Because this has to do with, energies that are closing. What is influencing the disruption of peace here? Show me the root of that. Okay. Wow. Just paused it. We have the cold hard truth, rejection, setting boundaries. Taurus, Capricorn, something or someone is no longer dependable. 25. There's something here about open dishonor when it comes to something that's no longer dependable. 525. Ooh-wee. Gemini. Let me see. Let me get the the main card I'm looking for here is the past life cards. Romance cards came out. Forgiveness. Now, you had a whole bunch of relationship angel cards come through here. Let me see what they are though. Healing family issues. Yeah, see. Religious factors. It's up to you in reverse. True love. Honeymoon. Free yourself. Came out in a challenging position. This is giving the vibe of someone moving as though, even if you don't come from a background or culture where your partner or your spouse is selected for you, energetically, that's the way you're moving, where you don't feel as though something is not up to you. And there's this false sense of feeling protected, honored, when you're openly being dishonored. And that in itself is clear as day in regards to, okay, it's time to close that cycle by forgiving yourself. Because Moon in Libra has to do with you know, your subconscious, your emotions, connected to memories in regards to a partnership one-on-one that you felt as though it was reflecting you, but it's really not. It's reflecting the old version of you. You're in the threshold, okay? Let's see what else. It's a bit disturbing. Youth. Gemini is really significant, having to do with the way you grew up. Narratives that you've experienced, you're making it your own, and it's not your story. You need to put that to rest. So yeah, that old narrative is no longer active, and you're still moving from something that's not even. The best way I can explain this is having something on the stove, cooking something on the stove, but the stove is not on. Let's see what this says. Inner child healing is very significant. Yeah, the way you grew up, childhood is very significant. I feel you do have to come to a point where you realize to move on from it, where you weren't fully nurtured, guided, or the lack of love as you were being raised. It may have made you hyper independent, hyper vigilant, extremely overprotective over yourself, to the point now you can't even, you're making decisions, but it's not, the decisions you're making are not landing. It's a lot of grief in the chest. It's a heavy load on the chest. I just felt the biggest gas bubble. Okay, let's see here. This would come up now. Yeah, this would come up now. I'm getting the energy of it's not what it seems. It's not what it seems. It's not that you're not loved. It's the experience you chose. I'm gonna keep bringing it back to that. Your soul chose that dynamic and that experience to evolve it, to shift it, to change it through the bloodline. 624. Let me see. Let's see. I feel as though we're gonna be doing multiple spreads here because this one is. Let's see how it goes. Confident messenger. It was all part of your journey. You possibly grew up in a strict background. And everything you've done moving forward in life was to make people proud, but it seems as though it was never enough. It was never enough. Let's get one more. Okay. Oh, that was a rainbow. You know what? Because this is actually coming up after that comment. What was the comment again? Wow, and it's okay. Let me see. What was it? Mention only God can oh, they didn't even put that. They put can judge us. But they meant to say only God can judge us. So what's happening here is this belief system that was deeply encoded within your DNA as you are going through this massive upgrade, reset. There's parts of you that are attempting to hold on to a past tradition to prevent you from choosing your path that is actually more in alignment to divine order and your divine authority as an extension of source. Because what we was just explaining was more of the third dimensional physical reality of it, but the depths of it is that the spell is being removed, basically. The lack of understanding of the word is being removed. And being in a state of peace may feel foreign while this is happening. Something as simple as being strongly connected to, oh, in order to be successful, you have to work hard. No, you don't. No, you don't. Or that no one is perfect. That's a lie too. Each and every one of you are beautifully and wonderfully, perfectly made. One has been so consciously aware of if there isn't a problem, something's off. Basically, the nervous system always prepared to brace itself for impact and never fully prepared to just embrace bliss, peace, calmness. Your inner child is highly aware of this moment that you're in to surrender. So that way you can move forward with acceptance. That would be the Chariot, which is actually right after the Lover's card. So, okay. The doves, also symbolic of Scorpio energy, purification. Let it all work out. Anything for Capricorn? Yep, we went briefly through the signs earlier in this live, but stay tuned. We may, we do all signs here. You're not just a Capricorn. We focused on the embodiment that you are all signs, not just your sun sign. Okay. Let's see what we got. Jupiter and Pisces. This has to do with you. You drop your shields. Perfect. Wow. Big money, wealth energy, Jupiter, expansion. But you have to bring what's in your imagination to life. Nobody's going to understand that but you. Especially with Jupiter and Pisces. Drop your shields. This is given... You could be a creator of things such as Game of Thrones, Harry Potter series, that type of mentality and way of imagining your world. You have to bring it out. You have to bring it out of you. That's a decision someone here has to make. You a whole legend out here walking around as if you're not. Let's clarify these. Some of you have amazing opportunity doing that, to work from home if you do. 120. Aquarius. You have a great ability to foreshadow. And a major part of your gift, what you're here to do, that allows you to live beyond comfortably, just thriving in life, has to do with you bringing information that's happening later on down the line, later on down the timeline or future per se, into reality now, so that way people are aware and prepared for it. And you're in a timeline where things are moving slower because you're connected to people who are not they're not fully connected to the way you process life, and it's slowing you down. So this is where some of you have to make an adjustment when it comes to certain people, especially, who's that, Virgo? Because you could be noticing where conversations are becoming more transparent or confrontational because of the transparency. Emotional clarity about someone's role in your life, tension between what you desire and what's real. Let me see, who else? Scorpio, this has to do with your expression and creativity. You have this strong emotional urge already to express yourself, creeping up on you. Because you're also noticing the clarity that you're getting around what you actually enjoy. and the frustration that comes with anything that feels forced or is against what you enjoy. Because this is about your authenticity, especially Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Horizon. Again, if you're looking for your personalized message, view the link in the pinned comment for your own personal message. The angel cards. Let's see. Drop your shields. Let's make your energy known here. Protection guardian here for the collective in this energy. One more shuffle. Shout out to Michael. Actually, that's okay. The representation there, and that's the Chariot. Ten of Swords. Clarify your energy. Protection guardian. Who was you? Six of Swords. Anahuel, 63, the meek God. Perception of unity protects against accidents, heals the sick. We letting this indecision way of moving mess with your health now. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Because it's okay, so there's a sitting in between the 2 and the 6, so that's 3, 4, and 5. 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 5 of Swords. I just heard stop attempting to get the last word. Because this 6 of Swords is after turmoil of conflict. The psyche is basically seeking an environment where healing and clarity can continue. But this could be about past experiences that are carried forward even as circumstances change. Not in this season. That's not suggested, though. Your healing is going to require distance. So whoever this is, you find yourself protecting or staying around to protect. The closing stages of your healing is requiring distance at this time. You really don't have to explain yourself about your actions either. Some of you could be in a situation where you feel as though you have to say something before you make the next move. Where is that coming from? Where is that notion that you have to have said conversation or this person must know, or if they don't know and you do what you do, it's still the same as if they had to know because you got some sort of guilt or shame connected to it while you're making moves for yourself? The next stage of this is the distance that's required is because, okay, so the guilt and shame comes up for it to be released. Because the distance allows you to see it clearer. You could have Aquarius highly aspected, where you're tuning into that Aquarian nature of yourself, emotionally detaching so you can be very clear about what actions you're taking or have taken. Actions you have taken. Okay. You've made the proper moves up to this point. You've made the proper moves up to this point. Let me see. You made the proper moves up to this point. Gabriel. Wow. Divine revelation reveals messages, has the power to destroy. Speaking of the throat chakra. Mm. Mm. Let me see something. Let me look at this post that I put up recently, because it's certainly connected to it. Mm, 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 mm. Is it here? I think I did put it on this side. Let me see if I still have it. No. Okay. Not there. Ooh. Is that, yeah, that's Psalm 75, actually. The judgment. You're awakening to a truth that cannot be ignored anymore. When it comes to you making all the appropriate moves for yourself, but you can no longer ignore the fact of what has you feeling empty or as if you're not in alignment even when doing so. You've constantly carried this energy into every new cycle. And now is the moment to fully release that. Or you may have been telling yourself when it comes to a significant person in your life, and the story may have been where you were attempting to protect the dynamic until you realize that what you were protecting, it wasn't reciprocated. What you was loving on wasn't reciprocated. It's the vibe of loving on somebody, but behind closed doors, it's your this is your biggest opposition. And who this is actually part of it's the problem with the whole scenario. It's who this is. So this could be someone really close to you that you now have to keep at a distance. And it's not that you're keeping them at a distance from a space of, in terms of Archangel Gabriel showing up here, connected to, well, in this, it's the moon. Yeah, and the moon is in Pisces. But it also speaks of judgment. Call on the play, flag on the play. This shit got to stop type of vibes. It's connected to Psalm 75, the judgment. Mm. Embrace the energy of peace. Drop your shields. Seems as though you've been in protection mode of yourself by avoiding connecting with this person instead of just realizing, just let it go, where you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Feel as though you have to connect with somebody because of whatever the dynamic is. Lover's energy, that's third house. So this could be someone you grew up with, a sibling or cousin, someone younger than you, or you're the youngest. You have placed yourself on the back burner for so long. But this is all part of your journey in regards to the way you're going to be able to bring your imagination to life. It's as if you have to go through each step precisely so in order to move accordingly moving forward. It's basically, I'm being shown checking off all the boxes. Somebody's checking off all the boxes when it comes to how many different ways something could be misaligned, but you still carry the essence of what it is you're focused on or your goal. Being an alchemist, being someone who can transmute it. Everything that has come up against you, you've actually utilized to build moving forward. The moment you make the decision that you don't have to avoid this dynamic or this partnership or this person, but more so coming from a space of they don't have to be in your life, and be more than okay with that. Being more than okay with that, you're no longer avoiding them. There goes the rainbow on the wall there. No longer avoiding them would be, oh, you can show up to a function where they are, and you can really move as though you've never met this person a day in your life. But still with that level of respect for yourself, not coming from a space of, oh, you're not fucking with this person or whatever. Nah, it's more so you never met this person. So if you walk up into you walk up to an event and there's somebody you don't know, you're not just gonna walk up to them and say what up or whatever unless you choose to, you know? Well, hmm. Your higher self is your strength right now, especially with the name Gabriel. You are someone, on another side of this, you are someone who's actually a messenger and interpreter of divine revelations. Book of Daniel is significant. September 29th for some. Lilies are significant too. You may have been seeing a lot of Mercury and Pisces right now, retrograde, especially with this connection to Archangel Gabriel. You're seeing a lot of signs and symbols that have to do with lilies, trumpets, specifically those two. Do not be afraid. That's wild because I just saw a post today where there is one statement that is repeated in the Bible 365 times, and it's exactly that. Do not be afraid. Well, there's that. Which epitomizes the reassurance of inherent in divine revelation. So the key here is to stop hoping and know, have faith. Can't hope and know. It's either you're hoping something will change, or you know with faith that something will change in your favor. What you working on, Gabriel? Let me see. This I picked up the whole deck and this one fell. Your great fortune. Let me look at the chat, y'all. Okay. We're caught up, okay. Because when we're speaking of judgment or making a decision, it's not the way people see it in terms of it originating from condemnation. It comes from the heart, recognizing what is genuine and what is not. Because the heart doesn't open or close. It just simply resonates with truth or dissonance. So Gabriel showing up here, the heart begins sorting frequencies. So what's aligned remains present. Sorting frequency. What are you working on here? What are you working on here for the collective? Let's see. Expectation. Immediately. Switching you from hoping into faith knowing. Realigning your head here, some of you. This could feel as though your spine is being adjusted. So that way the left and the right brain are working in alignment. 88 dragon. Really understanding your purpose in life and also the habits you've had in the past. In order to move forward in alignment with your power to be able to embody that. And it's working on your expectations that you've already left situations behind when it comes to false people. But there's still that residue, and this is where, okay, Gabriel comes in. Heart chakra realignment. Okay. Yeah, because earlier there was that heaviness. There was a gas bubble that I felt in the heart chakra area. In order for the truth to be spoken. Because again, what's aligned remains present, and what does not align starts dissolving anyway. That sorting process can feel a bit dramatic because it reorganizes your emotional landscape. Then the current can reach your throat chakra, which is Gabriel's true domain. Because Gabriel governs the moment when your internal knowing, not your hope, your internal knowing becomes spoken reality. The fact that Gabriel even appear, it's basically an announcement of what must change the direction of your past history. Let me see here. Whenever an announcement must change the direction of history, which occurs in your body first, because truth climbs upward until it reaches the throat chakra where it demands articulation. And anything that was once restrained begins forming. Conversations that were postponed suddenly occur. Mercury and Pisces. Yeah, so the trumpets and lilies, that's going to be so precise. 929, trumpets, lilies. The thought of a personal and experience that you have around seeing that, yeah. This is where your truth demands articulation. And what was once restrained is now beginning to form, and any conversation that was postponed is about to occur. Because the silence becomes impossible to maintain. Your third eye is highly active because it's processing symbols, dreams, and intuition with the moon card showing up here. The 16th of February is very significant. Yeah. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I just got so emotional just now. You're going to be fine. You are fine. I love the way the sun hits around this time. Oh, man. House 282882. You haven't felt at home within your body for a long time. And it could be because of the way you had to protect yourself in the situation for so long. 16 years could be very significant. Yeah, you've been, wow. Whoa. You got a grandfather and a grandmother highly concerned about you and the work that you've been putting in. You see how this glow of this sun is right now? And it's really sitting on you when it comes to what you've been suppressing and in matters of bringing emotional fulfillment in your life for yourself and not feeling any type of way about it because of what someone else thinks. That's just the general way of stating it because it shows itself in different ways in different scenarios for, each person, where you don't realize the way something affects you has been shaping the way you move through this world, especially if it hasn't been fully processed and handled and just constantly dealt with. That's why I said, just simply changing your verbiage about, oh, that you keep dealing with something, you keep playing the game, handle it. Judgment. Hit that gavel. Make a decision. The decision here has to do with what expands you. when it comes to you bringing what's in your imagination to life that expands you, that reflects you experiencing bliss in life. You really didn't feel at home around people. You've been around people, but still felt alone for quite some time. And you may have not even shown that either. You may have not even shown that until the distance you've created where you've placed yourself into a position where you could actually drop your shields. And when you dropped your shields, everything that came to the surface, look at that. Since you were a child, 18 could be significant, 20 is here, yeah. You haven't been feeling safe at home. Root chakra, your foundation, stability, trust is an issue, has been an issue. Because dynamics that was supposed to reflect, oh, this is where you can trust this person or this, that, or the third, it didn't pan out that way. That timeline reset map, when it goes live, with this resonating, this is resonating with you, that guide, step-by-step system is really going to help you to break out of that cycle, break out of that pattern. Because it's specifically designed to take you through the energies rotation by rotation, which is day by day. And if something becomes too overwhelmed, you will be guided within that step-by-step system to go back to cycle one or this step and regain your momentum to now come back to that phase where it's not overwhelming you so you can break these patterns cleanly. That will be going live soon. It will be in the standstill. Y'all see it once it goes live. Very soon, in a few hours. It's basically you working with me one-on-one, but I'm not there. It's you just utilizing the way I would move through a session with you, but you can take your time with it. It's a 30-day, 30 rotation system. It doesn't have to be completed in 30 days, obviously, because there's certain parts where, you may have to, regain your strength to then come back to that. All right. Yeah, unhealthy home situations. 4 is what I'm bringing this towards here. Marriage. But this could also signify the feminine, the masculine, unhealthy integration, unexpected income. Let's see. Something 9-9, a completion. Masculine. Vision. The pineal now. Whoa. Literally that. What? 1, 2, 3. I ain't never seen this shit happen this way. What? Okay. All right, let me give me 1 second. Oh my. Okay. Mm. Let's pause for a moment. You could be having people around you that you've disconnected from that could be seeing how much you've actually endured. People thought you was bullshitting, but they're actually seeing your purpose from a deeper level, especially during this Pisces season of compassion. It's on some that if had you not moved a certain way or answered your calling, the judgment, they on some, yo, we would have been fucked if they didn't decide to move the way they moved when they came to answering their calling. It's the final straw. You carry every ounce of memory of each generation within your bloodline. To have a vessel with that capability is not an easy feat. You're always going to be misunderstood until where understanding should be is occurring, and that is you understanding yourself. Even in the next phase where people see you exactly for who you are, do not get lost in the sauce, because you will be receiving that love, recognition, and care. And for some of you, it's going to be from places and people you never expected in regards to a change that they have. But this is the importance of you answering your calling and what shifts energetically through frequency and vibration. Doesn't mean you have to be around people or be in communication. You, because there's a connection to them via bloodline, the change happens instantly that way. Well, at least the commencing of the change instantly happens. As far as the way one perceives or connects to that change when it comes to people external to you that are connected to you through the bloodline, it's going to be different, obviously. But the change that occurs begins instantly the moment you've answered your calling. The calling had to do with embracing the energy of peace. And to stop protecting people because of the dynamic you have with them. It's basically you giving them a cup of water when they're thirsty. Instead of drinking it, they pour it out into the ground. But you keep giving them cups of water. You don't have to be cold in the way you disengage, but just be aware. That same energy you've been investing in others, bring it back to yourself. Especially being the type of person that, even in not receiving the nurturing and the care and the love, you still manage to have this amazing, beautiful heart to still be there. And even love those that basically was stabbing you in the back, per se. Never release that or lose that side of yourself. In fact, create that distance, consciously awareing to regain that clarity of the love that you are filled with, the heart that you have, and move forward with that. Give yourself the opportunity to be connected to people that are actually going to cherish and recognize you without you having to do the most. And I'm being guided to leave that message right there. I'll be back with another live. And I love you all very much. Have a beautiful evening. See you soon.